her core supporters were there, and she was like, wait. She like stopped everything, the music, stop the music. And she goes, we didn't talk about mental health in the debate tonight. And that is absolutely critical to me. It should be a part of your core coverage, and she just released on Tuesday a whole packet of what they want to do to try and improve the medical community's relationship to that issue in our country. So, and so many other things that I could go on. I know I studied a little bit about some of the local issues. If people want to talk about that, we can share, but I don't like saying bad things about the other guy. It's just not the way I like to be. But you said you say you have daughters? Or you said you wanted us to set
daughters?
examples?
23, good lord.
I was 25 when my first one was born.
Yeah, 2 years off.
All right, 2 years off, there you go. She's a sophomore at college now. She's at Harvard.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a baby, when you're listening to lectures while you're pregnant and you're like, but you know, I was raised by a powerful woman. I've been married for 25 years to a powerful woman. We're trying to raise 3 strong young girls to become powerful women. It is way beyond time for our country, the greatest country the world has ever known, to find the right woman and elevate her to the presidency. And I think we've got our woman, and this is the time. And so what we need is for individual citizens who don't understand all the issues, but know that they want to participate, to start, to put one little toe in the water and learn. That's the only way we learn. Democracy isn't about being an expert on every issue, it's about being engaged and participating with your fellow citizens. So you guys are you're doing that. I want to make sure I want to get through to you. I want to make sure I speak to what is important to you. What do you think about what I'm saying? Anything good?
Sure.
Yeah? What brought you in?
I can have a really good argument with you, but keep going.
We can have good. About Hillary in particular?
Politics and everything.
Good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm one of those types, as you've already gathered, I'm sure, from everything I've said, that governing
this way.
Yeah.
I have avoided politics because as an entrepreneur, I don't want to listen. I just rather go get it done.
The hard thing is that there's lots of ways to do things,
Right.
and there's lots of ways to get it wrong.
Right.
And so, as
Guilty.
Churchill,
Guilty.
well, me too. I'm 45, I've been getting everything wrong. Unlike Donald Trump, I'm willing to acknowledge constantly when I'm wrong and to apologize for it. It's just the right way to be. Somebody should tell that guy that's actually a good quality. But yeah, I mean, what did Winston Churchill say? Like, America gets it right after doing everything wrong first, you know? There's certain things only government can do. And if people don't show up and fight to try and find people that they can support and get to people that they don't want to support, but find a way to get your issues advocated for in a way that's going to improve it a little bit, it's slow. It's so slow. Progress is so slow. Every now and then something catches fire and you think you can have a big, lurch forward. But most progress certainly don't. And government gets it wrong. Government gets it wrong. I mean, it's waste, fraud, abuse, all that kind of stuff. It's awful. That's awful. Which to me means we all have to get smarter. We have to be more efficient in our meetings. We have to make clear decisions. We have to hold each other accountable to our decisions, for our decisions. So, but if we don't dig in and be patient for some of those moments when we don't want to, somebody else is going to show up and they're going to do it. And I don't know if we want some, banana republic dictator stepping in and trying to slap around our generals and do all kinds of other, suppress the media, and I mean, we could go on and on and on. It's like, this is a representative democracy. It's not pretty, it's not fun, but you know what? There's some great things going on in this country. There's some great things, and we never hear about that. The news always wants to focus on the things that are wrong. So my thing is let's learn about the stuff that goes right. Let's figure out the stuff that goes wrong. We have a framework. It needs to be fixed. I'm one of these guys who thinks that I agree with Secretary Clinton that there should be a constitutional amendment fixing the Citizens United. I think the redistricting process in this country, I've watched it. It's just awful. It's horrifying. There's a lot of things about the way the government works that needs to be better. I mean, we could go through the issues, but basically, you see my heart. I like her. I like Hillary Clinton, I like her. When she's talking, I lean forward and I want to listen. Some people don't like the sound of her voice. You know, last night Ryan Priebus said he didn't like it that she didn't smile during the Commander-in-Chief half hour. You know, there's you know, some people for all through the 90s it was what's wrong with her hair and what's wrong with her dress. I was raised by a woman whose voice was, and I say this with all due respect for my mother, my beautiful mother, my strong, you know, Academy Award-winning, Emmy-winning mother. Her voice could cut through a room and just make your spine stand up, right? So, but there's something about her. She was only this tall. So you're like, she was like, Napoleon would have been freaked out by my mom. He would have been like, put the cannons away, Patty's coming. But no, when Hillary talks, I see my mom. I see someone who, you know, last night, this Commander-in-Chief thing, there were a couple of questions, and I was like waiting to hear how I would defend those questions fed back to me. And I didn't. She answered it differently. And I was like, man, she didn't say it the way I would say it. How did she say it? She cut right to the point. She cut right to the point on all three of the big ticket hot button issues. And this morning when I was going to the airport and I was watching it on my phone and I rewatched it again, I was like, wow, there's some real wisdom in what she did. Like, my first instinct was to not like it, but then because I'm a supporter of hers, but also because I want to understand and I want to give her the benefit of the doubt for a minute, you know, when we can afford to. She did the right thing. She didn't make apologies for things. She explained what happened, she explained where she was going, and she moved on. I think she would be the greatest parent-teacher association president because she's the kind of person who walks in a room, shakes everybody's hand, learns everybody's name, remembers everybody's name, sits down, manages the meeting, hears people's point of view, and then bam, gets something done. And the next thing you know, there's, you know, trees in the quad, and then there's the grass is redone at the soccer field, and there's, you know, whatever, there's a new wall where it's supposed to be. She's like, she gets stuff done, and I know it personally. I've watched it personally. I've gone and testified, advocated, lobbied in Congress for different things. One was for education issues. We had an initiative we were working on. A bunch of us actors went up there, and we saw her in small setting where there was Joe Biden was in there, and then 2 Republicans were in there. Here's the thing about Republicans, as it relates to Hillary and the general perception of how much Republicans supposedly hate her. You could see them looking over their shoulder to make sure nobody was listening, but they really liked her. And the conversation went back and forth, and there was agreement, and there was mutual respect. Oh, and let me just say this, by the way, in case we don't remember, Hillary Clinton, first lady in the history of the country to run for anything, ran in New York, won. Okay, there's a novelty to the fact that it's the first lady running. 6 years later, she was re-elected in New York, one of the most complex states in the Union. Diversity, economic, social, racial, you know, you've got upstate New York, you've got Manhattan, you've got Wall Street, you've got, you know, Brooklyn, be careful with Brooklyn. What's up, Brooklyn? So, and she was reelected in a landslide. Her constituents, based on her work, returned her there. And I think that's really, really important. So I saw her, you know, we went in there so smart, and we knew our issue, and we knew exactly what we wanted, and we started talking to her, and she listened, and she listened, and she listened. And when we were finished, she started explaining to us the context of the initiative we were doing. She took us through the history of it. She talked about what they had tried to get done and failed, how they had changed things and succeeded a little bit, why they were able to succeed, where they were able to get support from people who usually disagree with them, and then why it was stopped where it was. And by the end of us lobbying her to get her support with the initiative, we all walked out of there like realizing we had so much more to learn. And one of the things I realized with all of our, you know, elected officials is they can only move as fast as the public is willing to kind of understand and move with them on many, many issues. So just watching how she thinks, intellectual curiosity, pure knowledge. She knows. It blows my mind when I hear her talk in person. I just think, I have a double degree with honors from a major university. Right? I've served on 2 councils, President Bush's Council on Service and Civic Participation. The mission was to cultivate a a community of civic engagement. The other one was I was a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army for 10 years under 2 administrations, 6 secretaries. I've sat in that seat listening to people talk for a long time. I've taken my notes, I've read my briefings, I've done this kind of stuff. It just blows my mind. I've listened to engineers, I've listened to people of all stripes talk. I love my TED Talks, I love my NPR. When this lady talks, and it's not in sound bites on the news, her pure knowledge is just really impressive. It's just really impressive. So, and she knows all the world leaders. We sort of gloss over the fact that she clocked 1 million miles. 1 million miles. George Clooney didn't even get that much in that movie. Was that movie? Remember that movie, Up in the Air? Did he get 1 million miles? That's when Sam Elliott came to talk to him, right? And it was all about like how lonely it is when you fly that much. So, it's easy to forget where our reputation was around the world after the, at the end of President Bush's second term. And she went, I don't know if it's visible to people, but when you go and you look somebody in the eye and you talk to them and you build that relationship, you explain what's going on, man, that's currency. That's currency. And now we're going to put her in a position of leadership where when things go wrong, and it's looking more and more tricky around this planet right now, we have to be very careful how we, as global citizens, behave. Anyway, I can feel them thinking. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody, anything? Be brave. Yeah? What are you thinking?
So, I was fascinated at the fact that you went through college, got honors, and had children, and did all of that at the same time. Did your kids go to your classes too?
The oldest one did, yeah. She's in Harvard now. I said that, right? Did I brag?
Yes, you did.
I know I said that. I know. Yeah, no, she went with us to everything. And my wife and I we went through every class together. Mm-hmm. We took every class, I wouldn't have gotten through college without her. And I don't think she would have without me. She had a career that she was getting ready to go do, but we kind of stopped, did our degree. I would read everything aloud to her. We were history and English, so it was all about reading. And she would sit and do whatever, and I would walk around performing, these thousands of pages of poetry. And Allie had to, she listened to all that.
So, considering that, because we are, for better term, in a very conservative community.
Yeah.
And by you being in an affluent conservative community.
Yeah.
How has it
Which one's a conservative? Hollywood's pretty liberal.
Okay, but what I mean is you're from Hollywood.
Yeah.
You are, in essence, from an affluent conservative community.
Okay.
And considering that you are from said community, as we're from this conservative community as well, how do you, even if you're not a liberal, but with liberal leanings, speak with your contemporaries?
Look, my expectation isn't that I go somewhere and change somebody's mind.
Right.
My expectation is that I go somewhere and share me. And I'm more than interested in having somebody share themselves back. In this national campaign, the reason the Hillary campaign wants me, I basically said, do with me as you will. I missed my kids' first day of high school and first day of, I have 3 daughters. The second one, the third one's first day of junior high. There's my wife. There's a lot that you miss. But I'm I don't care. This is a moment in history that I have to be present for. You do with me what you will. And they've been picking where to send me all over the place. And they picked this place for a very specific reason. This is they consider it a purple state. And they think based on her opponent's, based on the nature of who her opponent is, that Republicans in this area might give a little extra consideration to someone who they might not otherwise in another year. So they want to come and just, make the best case possible. But really, it's not about the guys like me that kind of blow through and give a rah-rah speech and leave. It's really about the people in the community. So if I can create, because people like Lord of the Rings or Rudy, just a moment to kind of grab somebody's attention, that's awesome. That's cool. But then it's about what I told you Hillary did for me. You tell people why you want to be involved. The odds are you guys are going to go out and convince a lot of people that are, blood red, hardcore, either Trump supporters or, gun rights, and there's some single voter issues that are pretty strong in these parts, and that, I wouldn't, this isn't the Crimean War. the Battle of the 600. Ours is not the reason why. Ours is but to do and die. Canada to the left of them, Canada to the right. On March the 600 is like this wipeout because the officers didn't care that there